Hi folks, this is Jay. Hope you're okay today. It's good to be with you. We're just going to be looking at who's written a book called Ethics, Evil and Fiction, Oxford Clarendon Press, 1999. The atheist Colin McGinn um, states this in his book about objective morality. And I'm just quoting this and then just going to reflect on it just for a few minutes. When I assert this is good or that is evil, I do not mean that I experience desire or aversion, or that I have a feeling or a liking or an indignation. These subjective experiences may be present, but the judgment points not to a personal or subjective state of mind, but to the presence of an objective value in the situation. What is implied in this objectivity? Clearly, in the first place, it implies independence of the judging subject. If my assertion this is a good is valid, then it is valid not for me only, but for everyone. If I say this is good and another person referring to the same situation says this is not good, one or other of us must be mistaken. The validity of moral judgment does not depend upon the person by whom the judgment is made. In saying that moral values belong to the nature of reality, the statements implied an objectivity which is independent of the achievements of persons in forming their lives with these values, and is even independent of their recognizing their validity. Whether we are guided by them or not, whether we acknowledge them or not, they have validity. Objective moral value is valid independently of my will, and yet is something which satisfies my purpose and completes my nature. A response to that by John Cottingham, Philosophers of Finding Fresh Meaning, Truth, Goodness and Beauty. We read, since McGinn accepts the first premise of the moral argument, he suggests that it is possible to detach moral objectivity from any religious worldview, so that we do not need to believe in God in order to find morality both important and binding. Here, McGinn exhibits a common confusion in that he conflates the argument for God as the ontological basis for objective moral values with the unbiblical epistemological claim that belief in God is necessary conditions. Now, what do I think about this? My thoughts. I think that the question has, when he says that morality is not connected to individual persons, and the judgment is independent of any individual, then Christians would not disagree with that. Christianity would not disagree with that in terms of human persons. But the question is, where does he locate the objective morality? He can't get out of the is-ought distinction. He can't get out of the naturalistic fallacy. So how does he get out of the problem? To say that reality is the way it is, and that reality shows us what morality is, that's not possible, because nature can't tell you what morality is. So he's trying to detach himself from personhood and give some kind of objectivity to morality, but it's difficult to see where he might locate that. If he locates it in an idea, then where is that idea sustained? How is that idea sustained in terms of who states that idea, who produced that idea? So if he tries to argue for a physical objective morality, if he tries to argue for a Platonic idea, either way he still doesn't get objective morality. I think for a Christian, morality is rooted in the nature of God. And the nature of God is a God who is and relational. That is to say, he is the I and the thou. And that is the center of morality. All the laws and all the revelation that we have of morality come from a reflection of the nature of God. Because we're made in the image of God as human beings, we have this inbuilt capacity for relationship. And therefore, because we're in relationship, we are made for a specific way. That is to say, it's a loving relationship. And every human being knows this subconsciously. So the ground of morality is in the nature of God. Love cannot be love unless it is free. You cannot have love in a materialistic universe where there isn't even free will, because we're just molecules in motion being affected by other molecules. So I think that for me, the way I understand that, if you try to build a morality based on nature, then you're inevitably going to be a relativist. There's no way out of the box. But if you believe in God, then there is necessarily right and wrong. There is good and evil. And all the laws in the Old Testament and New Testament reflect the nature and the attributes of God. As to, there is a historical reality that there is a development. God reveals himself in accordance with how we can relate to him. So in the Old Testament, he relates to the people there in consistency with his attributes, but in a way that the people of that time can relate to him. But the final relation came in Christ, where that shows us the full understanding of who God is. So I'm recognizing that there is a development in our understanding of how we do ethics throughout history. But that's in the that is not inconsistent with God's nature. God has revealed himself in history, but according to each culture in the way, the capacity for how they can understand, and also for his redemptive purposes. So he revealed himself in the Old Testament the way he did for his redemptive purposes in order to fulfill the final redemption in Christ. But without God as a reference point, it's difficult to believe in any good or bad, because at the end of the day, you are allowed to do what you want. There is no accountability whatsoever. Those are my thoughts about this atheist Colin McGinn. Feel free to share your own thoughts about his thinking and discuss and debate amongst yourselves. I'd be interested to hear what you think. I'd be interested to hear your ideas. And if it stimulates debate, this video, I'll be very pleased. Thank you and take care. What do you think? Let me know. I'll be making video responses in the next few weeks to whatever arguments you make under this video. Thank you.